Snow and silence. That's how it all began. 3 friends on the road to Fox's End. Edelweiss, a Furbolg bard with ancient fey magic. Sliggard, a goblin entrepreneur with humble beginnings. And Rudra, a deadly but quiet warrior. At a roadside camp, they joined forces with Thistane Tocklebram, or Tock for short, a gnome wizard with a spark for mischief, and Two Paws, a nimble-fingered Mawpock rogue. Their journey through the deadly crevice nearly ended at the fangs of a massive purple worm, which swallowed their guide, Whistler, whole. But the party struck back with fire, steel, and poison, and pulled their guide from the worm's belly just in time. They arrived at Fox's End in the middle of the Tethering Festival, a celebration where children chase their own shadows as a rite of passage. But something went wrong. A little girl, Alea, stumbled, but her shadow didn't. It stood, hesitated, and then ran. Thus began the unraveling. Chasing the rogue shadow through the forest, the party encountered strange lanterns, riddles in the frost, and the first whisper of something darker. Mr. Kind, a porcelain-masked figure who nearly stole Alea's soul. The party fought him off and returned Alea's shadow just before midnight, but not before uncovering treachery. 3 townsfolk had sabotaged the ritual out of fear. That night, at the Starry Brew Tavern, a lullaby led the party to the spirit of a mother who had lost her child to a broken-warded cask during a centuries-old siege. They laid her and her child to rest beneath the Heartbloom tree, the spiritual center of Fox's End. Searching for Tock's missing friend, Duncan, they spoke to a man named Deacon Yorbit, who briefly broke through his fog of memory to gasp out a warning. "The temple! It shouldn't have grown!" They were then asked to leave the chapel, as Deacon was escorted back to his room. Then came the porcelain puppets. A pair of cursed Haragon girls, Kid and Leverett, danced on the stage wearing half-masks. When defeated, they were freed, but not before warning that Mr. Kind still watched. And then they discovered Mira Cessair, dead and dangling from the market stage, her lips sewn shut and her shadow stolen. The party restored her long enough to hear her final words. "He used to wear kindness like a coat, but it was stitched from silence and lies. His name was Velmorin." Revealed at last, Mr. Kind, now known as Velmorin, dragged the party into a spectral realm for the final battle. Edelweiss fell, but it was Two Paws who ended it with a perfect arrow between the eyes. Velmorin was dead. Right? Back in town, they discovered something eerie. Shop ledgers, personal journals, and memories across Fox's End all showed a 6-week gap. No one could remember where the time had gone, and beneath the surface, the rot festered. The party left town to recover missing cargo, only to find a trail of blood leading to the mountains. A mutated frost giant had stolen goods and was performing a ritual to summon something horrifying. Kuranath, a mimic of flesh and form. The party was able to disrupt the ritual, but not before facing a nightmarish abomination. Its voice echoed, "Vornak Fel Ithzareth, for the ever-changing one." After the battle, cries led them to a rotting cabin in the woods. Two Paws found a journal. Something in the woods had been calling out to the cabin's occupants in their loved ones' voices. Something that wore their shapes. And then it attacked. A twisted, bear-like monstrosity, infused with something alien and raw, burst from the trees. Edelweiss tried to speak with it, but it only repeated, "Do you seek him? Vornak fel Ithzareth. Vornak fel Ithzareth." Sliggard lured the beast in, vanished in its jaws, and moments later, its skull erupted in flame. Inside its corpse, a mind flayer tadpole writhing in its brain. The corruption was spreading. Inside the cabin, the group found messages scrawled in blood and ink. "For the ever-changing one, over and over again." Sliggard and Two Paws, meanwhile, forged ownership documents for the cabin, now cleansed, hoping to resell it as rustic real estate. As they made their way home, they encountered Craven Seafang, a flamboyant dragonborn pirate trying to recover his frozen ship, the Clarion Horn, from a frozen lake. Unfortunately, the lake was holding more than ice. A kraken emerged and dragged the ship beneath. Craven survived and joined the group in hopes of finding a new crew and perhaps a better insurance policy. With the stolen goods returned to Erda Greentail, the party received a warning. Deacon Yorbit had been asking about them, but his behavior was concerning, to say the least. When Edelweiss went to the chapel to connect with him via magic, he had a cryptic response. "I cannot leave the chapel. If you want the truth, come at night." And now, as snow falls over the town once more, the party prepares to sneak into the Heartbloom Chapel under the cover of darkness. The shadows grow longer. The weeks are missing, and the flesh begins to shift, and the ever-changing one whispers still, "Do you seek him? Do you seek him?"